This is Boxing Talk 8576. I want to talk about the promoter, Floyd Money Mayweather. He's a promoter nowadays. Mayweather is a promoter. He promotes his fights, his own fights. He will tell you, he doesn't have no say in who he fights next. He leaves it up to Al Heyman, Richard Schaefer. But I don't believe that for a second. I believe Mayweather has the final say of the person or the opponents that they bring to him, of who he wants to fight. We all know it. We all know this because we know Golden Boy promotions. They want to make the most money as possible. I'm pretty sure Al Heyman wants to make the most money as possible. And the biggest fight out there is him and Manny Pacquiao. So he does not want to fight Manny Pacquiao. Trust me, they have brought that fight to him probably plenty of times behind closed doors. We will never know. But don't tell me that they do not want to be part and put their hands in the barrel of the $300 million fight between Manny Pacquiao and Mayweather that fight can generate. So Mayweather's promoter, he's like, he promotes himself. He's a fighter and a promoter. What he does, his brain tells him, okay, let me see how I can make the most money with the lowest risk. And that's what promoters do. When a promoter have a really good fighter, they're gonna look for the most lucrative fights with the less reward. If they have like a really good fighter and an average fighter, but the average fighter has a big fan base and the dangerous fighter does not have a big fan base, they're gonna go after the low risk guy. They're gonna go after the guy that has less skills and a less chance of winning the fight, lowest percentage chance of winning the fight against their fighter, but has the fan base to give them the most money and their fighter the most money. So that's how Mayweather look at it. See, that's why he fought Canelo. Yeah, Canelo had the belt, but was Canelo the best 154 pounder in the division? No. Lara, in my opinion, was the best fighter in the division. But guess what? He didn't have the fan base that Canelo had. Canelo had the fan base, but Canelo is not a great, on the same level to me as a fighter as Lara. Lara brings way too many more dimensions to his game that will challenge Mayweather than Canelo. People look at Canelo like, oh, his size and he has a big punch. Okay, he has size and a big punch, but Mayweather's foot speed puts, as you've seen in the fight, Mayweather's foot speed puts Canelo out of position to be able to land that big punch that he has. My wife and my sister and her husband went to go see the fight, and I told them when we walked into the movie theater, I said Canelo Alvarez has a 30% chance of winning the fight. I was going for Canelo Alvarez, but I was being true. I was being real. I said he had 30% chance of winning the fight because he had a big punch. I said he will have to show me something different that he has not done in the ring in this fight in order for him to win the fight. And he didn't show me nothing different. Mayweather was able to move around the ring, pop shot him, didn't hurt him, was just pop shotting him, building up points. Well, you know what Mayweather do. We all know what he does. He throw one or two punches, then he move, one or two punches, then he move, and go into his defensive shell. And Canelo could not catch up with him. After the fight, Canelo said he was faster than what I thought, which I already knew that, but a lot of fans' eyes was blinded by this guy can punch, and he's much bigger than Floyd Mayweather, which Canelo Alvarez had a lot of fights at 147. People have to go back and look at his record. He had fights at 147. Since he moved up to 154, he was fighting fighters that was coming from the 147 division to come up to fight him. The only fighter that he fought that was a natural 154-pound fighter was Austin Trout, and he barely scathed by that fight, by the skin of his teeth, in my opinion. The knockdown helped him in that fight tremendously. So, for people to say that he was this big test, I don't see what a big test was at. Even Mayweather was telling people during the promotion before the fight, do y'all honestly think Canelo is better than Cotto? He told y'all this. Y'all not listening to what this man's saying. This man is telling the truth on himself. He's not supposed to say these things, but he's telling the truth on himself. He said, do y'all think Canelo is better than Cotto? He said, I don't think Canelo will give me as a hard of time as Cotto did. And it proved in the fight that he didn't. Mayweather was right once again. He was right about that. Canelo was not as good. It did not give him as good of a fight as Cotto did. So, you know, I'm going to get past that. But anyway, yeah, Mayweather, he's a great self-promoter. He makes a lot of money. He's going to go down as the richest fighter, probably in one of the richest fighters in history. He's going to be in the top five, top three. He got this $250 million reported contract with Showtime, that 6-fight deal. So hey, he's making his money. But inside the ring, and people say, oh, he make adjustments to the fighters he fight. He don't have to make adjustments to the fighters he fight, because he fights the same type of fighters, big punchers, flat-footed. I mean, I'm not going to call Canelo, he's not as flat-footed as some of the fighters he fought, but he's still slower foot. You've seen it in the ring. Robert Guerrero, you know what I'm saying? Flat. You know what I'm saying? He's fighting these guys that he deems have fanfare behind them, and he throws that in people's face and says, hey, I'm not going to fight this guy because no one knows this guy. He doesn't have a country behind him. This guy has a country behind him. I'm going to fight Canelo because he has a country behind him. Laura don't have a country behind him. See, that's his excuse of why he won't fight that fighter versus the fighter that has, you know what I'm saying, a country behind him. See, that's the excuse we get. And then y'all take it and y'all eat it up and say, oh yeah, why should he fight that guy? That guy it's not going to bring him no money. Guess what, people? Mayweather is rich so many times over that he could have fought Laura. And he may not have the pay-per-view numbers as fighting Canelo, but he could have made really good pay-per-view numbers with Laura. Laura's a really good fighter. Laura been around for a little while. You know what I'm saying? Laura has, had some really good wins in boxing. People know Laura. If Mayweather, the great promoter that he says he is, you could have promoted that fight. You could have, you know what I'm saying, carried Laura in that promotion. Laura didn't have to say anything. You're the man. You say you are the man. You say, when you talk about the pay-per-view numbers, you say I generated the most pay-per-view pay-per-views in boxing over the last 5 or 6 years. Not Pacquiao, me. So if you, Money Mayweather, generates the most pay-per-views in the last 5 or 6 years, that means you don't need another fighter to help you generate pay-per-views, because you're the man. You said it out your mouth. See, that's why the contradictions come from when you say that you can do this or you've done that. Okay, if you've done it, you can go pick Joe Blow off the streets and fight him and make good numbers. But see, a lot of people don't know that, but people that can see through that stuff understands and sees right straight through you, Mayweather, that you're only going to use